Hello, listeners. This is Josefina Castleberry. Today, I am going to share my journey with my course, Principles of ILT. This presentation will serve as my final project. My own childhood has always been a big part of why I decided to become a teacher and what kind of a teacher I am right now. Childhood is one of the most magical time of one's life. If not to everybody, at least my childhood is. Yet, it is the most fragile time of one's life as well. Every child is very uniquely different in how they think, how they feel, and how they react to different experiences. Being a child is one of the most memorable times in somebody's life. Sometimes it makes me wonder if I really have changed since I was a child. Are the adults the ones that changed this child so quick? What to do, how to play, what to learn? As I continue with my Master's of Arts in Education, aiming to specialize in early childhood, I was able to understand what other underlies education beyond just teaching. This study has answered many questions and doubts that I had after my undergraduate course. The study provided a systematic guide, course by course, reading after readings, and anything that a good educator should know about education. These theories taught me the names of the great grandfathers of education and their great contributions of everything that exists now in education. Nevertheless, the relevance of the education system now and then, and how we can possibly contribute to change the system in the future. The journey with this field opened a new horizon, a new vision, with what I can do more in able to joyfully continue my advocacy to early childhood education. Module 1 taught us about the theories behind the history of our present education system and the changes that had happened. United States education is known as one of the best countries when it comes to education. However, data shows over the past few years that this may not be the current situation. The module discussed the possible reasons on what might be happening with the United States educational system. The module talked about the history of education and the achievement gap for the reader's better understanding of the issue. The achievement gap is one of the most controversial educational issues in the US. It pertains to the contrast and disagreement in a standardized test scores between different ethnics and race. The assumption that the center of the gap was lost. Instead, it had created a deficit debt, filed and filed over the years, which created a negative impact into our society. I am new to San Antonio. The experience I have in teaching are from outside San Antonio. This course taught the importance and relevance of the demographic areas where the students came from, their cultures, and the kind of population they belong. The school that I am presently employed is implementing a curriculum that is a dual language program. English and Spanish are both being used as the language of directions depending on the day. In a dual language program, children are encouraged and directed to work as pairs. They are assigned together based on their abilities, personality, and language background or language spoken at home. During learning time, the direction to the children is to work with partners as a team. Oftentimes, they have to collaborate and decide together with how to accomplish a certain task. Two children with different academic performance levels works together as one. They are bilingual pairs. During the interaction between learning and developing in a social environment, it feeds a chance to elaborate a complicated communications, a design of form of communications, and creates verbal self-assurance in a fun and relaxing atmosphere. They are white, Hispanic, and half of both races, wherein African American are the minorities. Parents are most likely Hispanic or Hispanic married to a white race, which accommodates both one or language of both of the parents. The demographic area of the location of the school, culture, and social class are essential factors on what to consider in our everyday learning. The class is an actual representation of the different social class backgrounds in our community. Some of the families were able to send their children to the school because of grants. Some of them are middle class families seeking a better education than what the public schools are offering. Learning environment in a dual language program provided us a great opportunity on how we can practically apply the theories we have learned in this course. Module 2 gave us an opportunity to be more knowledgeable about interdisciplinarity. This module examines the disposition of interdisciplinarity, which pertains to essentiality of knowledge and how we can generate new learnings. Components such as diversity and motivating the students to internalize the connection are two of our favorites in interdisciplinary. All these are the essential factors we have applied to promote dual language learners' success. Module 3 highlights about social justice in education. District limitations for some communities plainly influence the financial and therefore academic influx of education. The behavior and personality of the child reflects the social characteristics of the parents. The impact of the social environment influences behavior of students. Additionally, human behavior results from the combination of socially and culturally arranged together in a form of contemplation into natural activity. This socio-political nature of education are present in the demographic area like San Antonio, wherein there are gaps between the social status represented with language and race they came from. Module 4 and 5 are my favorite and the most I found a connection. These six learning theories and ideologies are the foundation knowledge useful in teaching strategies. Cognitive psychologists turn to theory. Theories need confirmation and many turn to brain science, where processes may be said to be inspected rather than introspected. The brain must have structural features that allow for freedom of choice and creativity. John Piaget and Lev Vygotsky both believed that learning and development are significant and important part of the psychological process, though they have a different visions of the connection between these processes. Piaget believed that knowledge is not ready-made. It is a transcript of a unit. We do not form knowledge straight by things we notice. We always consider according to our own obstruction. These theories are the teacher's guide in creating our lesson plans and activities and what to expect from the learners. On the other hand, Vygotsky focuses on social language development. Children language development comes first before concept, then inner generalization develops next. This theory is very useful each time we perform our activities in a dual language program environment. They use a Spanish word that they do not completely understand, but they will soon. Module 6 is what I consider the Millennium Theories. It addresses the needs of diverse learners, focusing in four groups: racial and ethnic, culture, LGBTQ, and ability, the 21st century skill. Educators need to know how to embrace the value and differences of their diversity. Culturally responsive pedagogies are teaching strategies that respect the cultural and linguistic diversity of learner population. There are reasons on why the present American schools are focused on the significance of the students' social and language practices outside the schools. 1. The fast innovating change of the demographics of the American society. 2. The aggressive progress of students and abilities that our technological populations demand. And the unsuccessful teaching of analytical skills. In conclusion, with what we should do on how to integrate the main themes and other ideas from this course are some recommendations. Learning responsibility must be arranged to confirm students have mastered certain skills, skills that are relevant and useful in the long term. Learning approach should provide discipline in problem-solving measures to find explanations to the investigation and guarantee that relevant practice are provided with enough attention, such as asking and answering thoughtful questions, also known as open-ended questions. This will provide learners to think independently. Not to mention, interdisciplinarians such as educators and administrators need to be more conscious to the accurate focus of learning and are flexible to adjust during implementation. For knowledge should be naturalized and an in-depth of understanding as a foundational skill. In addition to these theories, educators need to reconstruct students' learning experience beneficial to high-level thinking and put in mind that imagination is vital. Educators should always be able to visualize applicable disciplinary judgment. Learning and teaching needs rehabilitation relative to knowledge and discipline that is useful to the community. Obstacles to learning needs to be defeated. The present education system cannot advance without change. Learning and teaching is not about our future, but the student's future, as quoted by the famous philosopher John Dewey. Education system needs to heal as we heal the world. Children deserves a better education as a part of the healing world. All human race, children and adults, deserves a better world to live, but it needs to be healed first.